Good morning and welcome back to the 2022 KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship here at Harbor Shores in Benton Harbor, Michigan. We are joined by our 2017 KitchenAid Senior PGA Champion, Bernhard Langer. Bernhard, thanks for finding us and spending some time with us. It's always good to be with you. Let's talk about your season to date. So you've already got another win. I think that yearly annual winning streak is alive and well. But just how are you playing as you come in here, and is it good to be back on familiar turf here at Harbor Shores?
Well, it's definitely great to be back to this course in this part of the country. It's a beautiful golf course, a great test, and we're all looking forward to it and are excited to play the Senior PGA here again. My form is, I don't know. I had 2 weeks off, tell you the truth. My son graduated from college. Penn, and a few weeks ago, before that, I watched him play the Ivy League's championships. So I took several weeks off, missed a couple of tournaments, and really haven't played a whole lot of golf since November. So this is really when I feel like I'm getting back into the swing of things. It's going to get busy from here on till November, and my form, as I said, I'm not sure where I am at this point in time, but had a good start to the year, and last few weeks were so-so when I played, but I've played very little.
Well, congratulations on your son's graduation. That's neat.
Thank you.
Let's go down the way here. Alex, you have a question?
Yeah, just a couple things. One, how good is your son as a golfer?
Oh, that's a difficult answer because to answer, because how good, good to somebody is 5 over par is good, a 77, or to somebody else it's a 67. So he's a scratch golfer more or less, and enjoyed his time at Penn on the golf team and enjoyed playing golf, but he's already committed to take up a career in investment banking, and golf will just be a fun sport for him to do in the future.
How because it sounds like historically this is kind of like how you do it. You take some time off and then you start back up at this time. How long does it usually take you to kind of get yourself to where you want to be?
Oh, it varies. Depends. Sometimes it happens very quick, and sometimes it takes a little while. So it all depends where the swing is and where the putting is and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get there.
Do you find getting a little older makes it a little more difficult?
Absolutely. Getting up, the body is starting to ache here and there. And I've had, a few injuries in my last 45 years. So it shows up. It's not getting easier, so I'm not trying to kid anybody here. It's normal. I think losing a little bit of distance, but if I'm play my best game and hit it straight, I still have a good chance to win a few tournaments.
Let's go to John on 3.
Bernhard, talk a little bit about, in your mind, the low scores that have been produced here the times they've been here. Does that kind of surprise you with what this golf course is like?
Not really. If the weather is decent here, I think if you play really good golf, you can go low here because the conditions, the greens are very good. The fairways are at times generous, but not always. And there's a lot of shots where you really have to be committed because there's just a lot of trouble left and right. But if you hit the right pockets on the greens, you can go low. But at the very same time, it's one of those golf courses, if you're on, you can go low. If you're a little bit off, you can go really high. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
There's a 65 out there, but there's also an 80 out there kind of thing.
Yeah, I usually shoot the 80.
Let's go to Jeff on 4.
The son who just graduated, is that the one who hit the 3-wood in at the father's son?
That's the one, the youngest,
one of the better shots you said you'd ever seen under the...
Absolutely, yeah. It made a different sound and carried it like 271 into the wind or something. I don't have that shot.
Monty was in earlier. He paid you a really nice compliment. He said he learned a lot about course management from you and from Nick Faldo. Curious where you learned great course management.
From my mistakes, mostly. Just playing golf and then going through the round, and I realized, well, why did you take that club here when you could have done this and that? So literally from my own mistakes, I think that's the best learning curve. And obviously you see, as you paired with other players out there, you see, well, they're hitting 3-wood off the tee, I'm hitting driver, why is that? Or I'm hitting 2 hybrid, they're hitting driver, or you know what I'm saying? So you wonder, well, why are they doing that? And then you look at the yardage book, or you look at the fairway, and maybe it's wider here or a bigger target. And so I learned that a very long time ago, trying to hit the ball to the biggest fairway. We used to measure the fairway sometimes sideways. Bobby Clempett and I were playing practice rounds in the 80s, U.S. Open or major tournaments with tight fairways. And most people don't even look at, whether it's 22 yards wide or 28 yards wide, but that's 6 yards difference. So you have a higher percentage hitting the 28-yard fairway than a 20. So we spent some time doing that, and I figured it was important to keep the ball on the fairway, especially for me, as I'm not the longest guy in the world. I have to hit the fairway, because I can't hit a 4 or 5 iron out of the rough very easily.
There's analytics guys now that tell the younger guys how to play holes.
Well, they just tell them to hit it as far as they can.
Right,
That's not how anymore.
Yeah.
It's hit it as far as you can and wedge it on the green. That's what I've seen lately, and that's what they tell them. I think they come up with statistics that prove, and that's how Phil Mickelson plays the game. He just bombs it out there as far as possible. He won a tournament out here a few months ago, and he was last in hitting fairways. So it proves the point.
Pete, go ahead.
On the topic of course management, you've obviously played this course a couple of times in years past. How much do you think local knowledge is important on this particular golf course?
I would think a little bit for sure, but all these guys are so good nowadays. They play 2 or 3 practice rounds. Most of them have been here several times themselves. They have professional caddies, most of us. And these guys are very experienced, so it doesn't take them very long to figure out how to play a golf course.
Will you play today?
I'm hoping to play this afternoon. That's why I moved my interview time up a little bit early. So the forecast is showing less rain this afternoon, and I didn't get here till Monday night, so I'd like to get out there and get a few more reps in.
Recollections of your championship in 17, a really two-man duel on the back nine with VJ, and it completed the Grand Slam. Wasn't that? It had to be. What are your recollections of that week?
Yeah, there was. It was a huge victory for me because I've never won a PGA championship, a senior PGA championship, and I was up against one of the legends, one of the greats in the game. And Vijay was on top of his game, and I was as well. And it came down to a 2-man showdown, literally at the back nine. And he hit it much further than me off the tee. I mean, he drove that one green, a great tee shot, I don't know, 7, 8, something like that, and had an eagle putt, and I had to wedge it in there, and I made a, 20-foot putt for birdie, and he missed his eagle putt, and he made birdie. So, we walked away from the hole being tied when it looked like it could have been a two-shot swing and things like that. So, and it was important for me personally to not just beat Vijay one-on-one, but to complete the Grand Slam on the senior tour.
One of many terrific career accomplishments. We're going to go far down on the number 5.
Just a couple of random ones, Bernhard. We're doing some different features, but playing with PGA professionals this week, how unique is that, and how cool is that for you guys to get a chance to see kind of the other side of the golf business and get to play with those pros?
Well, I think we know that side, but I think it's cool for them to play with us. I think it's the other way around. It's a highlight of the year for any of them to qualify for this tournament. I think this is their major tournament of the year. And if they qualify and they get a chance to compete here and show, their local members and stuff that they can play pretty good golf and be a part of this and be on television, hopefully, that's pretty cool. That's definitely a highlight. And then, some of them will get paired with some of the best senior players in the world, and that will be another highlight for them. And we know that there's some very good players. If you consider that they're coaching golf or managing a club or running a pro shop and all that, that's playing golf is more of a side job for them. For them to be able to play at the level they are is pretty special.
And then last question for me, the Alfred S. Bourne Trophy, which you've won. Talk about how big that trophy is, how heavy it is to lift, but just how proud you are to have that trophy at your house.
Well, as I said, I'm very proud and happy to have won that trophy and that title. It's a unique trophy. It's huge. It reminds me a bit of the Stanley Cup trophy. And I just saw the interview with Padraig Harrington, I guess, the questions they asked him about the trophy and how much it weighs. And he was wrong on all the answers, so that was pretty funny. But it's certainly a wonderful piece of art and a nice one to have.
I think we're on microphone 3.
Yeah, Bernhard, Tony Paul with the Detroit News. Welcome back to Michigan.
Thanks, Tony.
You obviously have a great memory in Michigan from the 2004 Ryder Cup at Oakland Hills. They obviously suffered massive fire to their clubhouse, destroyed it. I'm just curious what your thoughts were when I'm assuming you saw the video or heard about it, what your thoughts were about that.
Well, first I was obviously very sad and concerned about the people being there, but when I heard nobody got hurt, that was a relief. But then it was still sad to see a historic clubhouse like that with all the memorabilia they had being burned down to the ground. So I don't know how much they recovered, if any. It was a sad moment and one of disbelief in a sense, how that could happen.
And then just last one from me. You mentioned Phil earlier. Phil's not here. He wasn't here last week. I'm just curious, can he return? Should he return? How does he return to golf?
Great questions. I don't have the answers. I just feel very sad for him. And he's one of the all-time greats. And just feel bad for him to be in the position he's in right now.
Is golf better off with him out on the course?
Well, I think Phil was great for the game of golf, and hopefully he will be great again sometime in the near future.
Thank you.
Mr. Alex on 4.
Bernhard, one thing, did you get a chance to see the final round on the PGA?
Some of it, yes.
So you're aware of what happened with Mito on the 18th hole?
I saw that.
Obviously, you play golf long enough, you're going to run into situations where you're not going to be happy with what happens on the last hole. Unfortunately, when it's highlighted by being a major championship, what did you take away, or what could you take away from something like that when it was in your career?
Well, I felt very sad for him and very bad that he was leading most of the tournament and then not even getting in a playoff. I mean, 18 is a very hard hole. It's easy to make a bogey, but to make a double bogey and miss out on the playoff by one, I guess, right? It's just it's going to leave scar tissue. It's going to be a tough one for him to digest for quite a while. But hopefully he'll get stronger from it and learn his lessons. And that's all you can do. In golf, we make decisions on every shot. And you got to be committed to your decision. And sometimes they're the wrong decisions. Sometimes they're the right decisions. Sometimes you make a good swing and sometimes you won't. So it's the worst thing that can happen, I think, to anybody, to make a double bogey and lose the tournament on the last hole. So my heart goes out to him, and I just hope he can overcome it and be stronger from it.
Was there a situation in your career that you can go back to? We were talking to Monty about his. You clearly have one in your idea as well. What happened with you?
I had the very same situation, actually. I was playing the Senior British Open at Birkdale, and just by me knowing this, it shows you that it left scars, that I remember it vividly, right? This was years ago, but I had a 2-shot lead. All I had to do was make bogey on the last, and I win the tournament. So I played smart off the tee with a 3-wood short, laid up short of the bunkers. It was in the middle of the fairway, and now it was a decision of whatever. My first thought was hit a 4-iron, lay it up, 30 yards short of the green, take all the trouble out, all the bunkers out, pitch it on, and make 2 putts, and I win the tournament. That's what I was thinking. And then my caddy said, well, maybe we should take a 2 hybrid and, go for the green or go over the green, and there's no trouble there. And for some reason, I took the advice he gave me, and I shouldn't have. And I thinned my 2 hybrid a little bit, hit in the greenside bunker, which still is usually not a problem. But it rained in the morning. We had a rain delay. And I hadn't been in a bunker all day, I think. So I get in there, and the sand was rock hard. There was no, when it rains, it washes out. So I'm expecting for my bounce to kick in. Well, it went like this, and the ball came out really low, hit the lip, and stayed in the bunker. Now I hit the next one, realizing how hard the sand is. I got it out to about 15 feet and missed the putt and made double bogey. Lost the tournament. Or now I got into a playoff, and then I lost the playoff the next day. So, yeah, a terrible, series of errors there, from the wrong club for the second shot to the misjudging the bunker sand, not realizing how firm it was, one to the next. So, yeah, it hurt.
Still does, sounds like a little.
It still does, because that's, I kind of feel I try to prepare as good as I can, and I try to have good course management, and that was just about the opposite from good course management. So I'm not very proud of it. And again, I learned my lesson. This will not happen again if I'm ever in a situation like that again.
4-iron.
Definitely 4. I could have hit 7-iron and hit a full pitching wedge into the green, something like that. Anything to make bogey would have done it, right?
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Bernhard, thank you so much for your insights, and we always value our time with you. Best of luck this week, and we'll look to see how you do.
Great. Appreciate it.
Thanks
Thanks very much. Have a good week.